Hi everyone. Today we're going to have a crack at making some ferment. Got my friend Mauricio here. He's a bit of a ferment expert. He's behind the camera so you can't see him. But today we're going to make a ferment based on cabbage. I suppose you would call it sauerkraut, but it's important to know that you can make a ferment with any vegetable you like, really. Well, maybe not any vegetable, but there's a few that are great. Like this has got some daikon radish and some carrot. That one turned out really good. And another one we made here before has got red cabbage and carrot and also some cauliflower in it. Before we start, I'm just going to explain a few things about ferments. It may seem a little bit mysterious to you at first, but there's some basic principles. We're not adding anything to the vegetables other than salt. There's no water, there's no vinegar, there's no culture. All the culture we need is on the actual vegetables themselves. They contain the microbes and enzymes that we need to make the ferment. We add salt to it to moderate the fermentation process. And the fermentation process, what it does is it breaks down the sugars in the vegetable and turns them into vinegar, into acetic acid. And that vinegar then preserves the vegetables, and at a certain point the vinegar will slow down the fermentation process. And then it will become stable and it will keep for quite a long time, probably up to a year. It may get a little bit sour, but of course the sourer it gets, the higher the vinegar content and the slower the process becomes. We've got a mandolin here which we can use to slice up vegetables, or if you don't have one of these, you can just use a sharp knife. And if you want to learn how to sharpen a knife, you can go and have a look at our previous YouTube clip. It shows you how to sharpen a knife with a Japanese whetstone. I'll do both. I'll do a little bit on the mandolin. Now these things are really dangerous. They've got a blade in them. It's incredibly sharp. So if you're using them, always make sure you've got the right attachments so that your hands never go near the blade. So I'll start by cutting the cabbage in half. I mean, you probably want to speed some of this. There's our lovely cabbage. We're also going to put in some ginger into this one, which I've peeled, and some garlic. Garlic is the secret ingredient, apparently. Everything Mauricio makes is good, so. And he's gonna make an appearance later and show us how to actually knead the salt through the vegetables. We cut it into, it doesn't have to be super fine, it's up to you really, as long as it's, something that you can get into a bottle easily. Some prefer finer, some prefer coarser. I like it a little bit coarse because it keeps a little bit of the texture. It stays a little bit crunchy in the bottle. If you cut it finer, if you shred it really fine, it'll be a very soft sauerkraut, very soft ferment. Good trick when you're cutting things like this big is to keep your fingers tucked under so that your fingers are going back, so the blade of the shoulder of the knife can only ever rub against, so you can't actually catch the end of your fingers. And then your sauerkraut may have some things in it that you don't really want in there. I'll put the next little bit on here to show you how this thing works. Up like that, just basically holding that bit. That also makes quite short work of it. but really not that much faster than a knife. Here's a little trick I learned years ago working as a cook for getting nice julienne vegetables. So you cut nice thin slices like that. Try and keep them together in the order that they're coming off the knife. You can do this with carrots or with cucumbers or zucchinis or whatever you like. And then you get them all together like this in their little rounds. A bit easier with the carrot because it sort of stays together. And you sort of flatten them out a little bit, like push them over on an angle so they're all stacked up like dominoes. And then you can cut across them like this. You get a nice thin julienne. We're just going to chop these up a little bit. Just roughly chop them up. That's good enough. All in together. This fine weather. Alright, now this is where the magic bit begins. I'm going to put a tablespoon of salt in here. Just sprinkle it round. And I'm going to invite my wonderful friend Mauricio to come and show you how to massage the salt through the vegetables. Here we go, Mauricio. So as the salt pulls the moisture out of the vegetables, it actually separates, and you'll find like a layer of salty water or salty vegetable juice, I suppose, in the bottom of the bowl. And that's very important for the fermentation process, as you'll see later.
I think that's it.
Awesome, that looks great. Wow, that's quite different to how I did it.
Oh yeah?
It's good, I like it. I'm learning something here. So we'll let this sit for overnight, up to 24 hours probably is fine, until the moisture starts being drawn out of it and you get a nice liquid pool in the bottom of the bowl. And really all that's left after that is to bottle it, but we'll show you that next. There's a few tricks in bottling it as well. Yeah, see you soon. So here is the sauerkraut that's been kneaded and left overnight. Well, it's been left a little bit longer than that. And as you can see, the liquid has separated out. So here we have the liquid. As you can see, it's separated out. The salt's drawn it out of the cabbage. All that's left now is to bottle it. So it's important when you put it in the bottles that it's compressed. You don't want any air in the bottle. You want there to be enough liquid to just cover the top of the vegetables. Okay, so now we're going to put a little bit of liquid in the bottom of the jar to start with. There we go. That should be enough. And now we're going to pack the jar. Just put a bit in at a time and we press it down. Nice and compact. Want that to be. This fermentation is an anaerobic fermentation process. That's why we don't want any air in there. Anaerobic meaning no air. And you should see the liquid coming to the top as you press it down, and that's how you know you've got most of the air bubbles out. the liquid there coming to the top. I'm being quite firm with it here. There we go. You can see we have the liquid covering it. Alright, there we have one jar. Put the lid on, don't put it on too tight. We want the gases to be able to escape as it's fermenting. Otherwise it could pop the jar. Here's a jar that we've had fermenting for about 2 weeks, I think. So it should be just about ready. This one's got quite a few different vegetables in it. It's got daikon and carrot and some cauliflower. Let's try some. That's really good. Nice and fizzy. So now that we have it bottled, just put it in the pantry, somewhere nice even temperature, not too cool, not too hot, and leave it for a minimum of say 2 weeks. You can probably start eating it from between 2 and 3 weeks. After that, it just gets better. Here's one that's been pickling for 2 weeks. Hey, Ponty. What's going on?